girls, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be talking about the top 5 best fantasy books that I read last year in 2022. So this is definitely a really hard list for me to narrow down. I read a lot of fantasy last year and I read a lot of really good fantasy last year, so I'm definitely not the type of person that reads like high fantasy, just like more regular fantasy, mid fantasy, mild fantasy, I don't know what it's called. Anyways, without further ado, we are going to be talking from worst to best. Like, they're all 5 stars because we're talking about my 5 favorite ones, but like my 5th favorite all the way up to my 1st favorite, which the first one you guys should know already because I've talked about it 8,000 times, but whatever. We're going to talk about the first one that I listened to an audiobook, and that is Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor. So this one, it was really fun. It kind of gave me almost like Night Circus vibes by Erin Morgenstern. So basically this is a traveling hotel that is like full of magic. So you kind of get invited, like you can't just go. You can't just like book reservations and go. You have to get invited to go. And it is, like I said, a traveling hotel and it's full of magic. And we end up with our main character. She is really struggling. Her parents have passed away. She's, I think, in her very early 20s, and she has a teenage sister who loves to sing. And her teenage sister, like, she is now taking care of her since their parents have passed away. And she's really struggling. She's working at a tannery. She's just like not making ends meet, barely, and it's tough. And her sister ends up getting invited to go and work at this Hotel Magnifique as a singer, as part of the entertainment there. And she decides she does not want to let her sister go without her. So she kind of makes, like, typically this is not something that would happen, like they don't allow this, but she kind of ends up making a bargain that she's going to go there and she's going to be a maid there while her sister gets this singing job. Okay, so she goes, and right off the bat her sister's kind of like whisked away and she doesn't really get to see her, and it starts to become clear to her that something strange is happening in this hotel. She's there for like a couple of weeks and she doesn't get to see her sister, and she's like, at some point, where's my sister, you know? She feels like something is, like, maybe she's been kidnapped or something is wrong, and she's trying to find her sister, but she's also having memory problems, and she's kind of like, in the times when she is like lucid, she's kind of putting things together, like something is going on here. But then like the next minute she'll forget about it. So it's really weird. So we kind of like follow her as she's trying to find her sister, trying to figure things out. And there's magic involved. It's once again a magical kind of carnival traveling with like lots of different shows and stuff at this hotel. So it's really cool. There's lots of magic, lots of mystery. And we're trying to solve the mystery of where is her sister. So this one was really fun, and I gave it a 5 out of 5, of course. So next we are going to talk about Our Crooked Hearts by Melissa Albert, and this is a standalone book by Melissa Albert, and it is follow-up to her Hazelwood series. This has nothing to do with the Hazelwood series, but this is like the follow-up book. And basically this, we follow 2 perspectives. We follow a perspective of a mother and a daughter. The mother when she was her daughter's age, and we find out that their relationship is really strained, and we kind of find out why. So basically the mother goes missing and we have the daughter trying to find her, and she kind of like starts to find out some things about her mother. And meanwhile, we're also getting the perspective of the mother when she was a teenager, and we realize that during these years the mother had started to get into some witchcraft. And it started out really innocently enough until she meets a girl who kind of gets her and her friend into darker magic. And that ends up affecting her life today. And then we are following, like I said, her daughter, who is trying to find her mother and kind of realizing that she has some magic of her own, and that her mother has been lying to her about certain things. And we're following kind of both of their coming into their own and realizing that they're witches and that they have powers and the things that they can do. So really enjoyed that one. You guys know I love a witchy read. So next we have A Dark and Starless Forest by Sarah Hallowell. And this one I've once again talked about a ton of times on here. Another witchy read. And the main thing that I love about this is that we have a curvy protagonist, which I have never read in a book before. it was something that once I read it, I realized, like I didn't even realize that I had never read that before and how much that is needed in books. Like it's needed. And I never have read it before. So we have an overweight girl, teenage girl is our protagonist, and she has magical powers, and her parents have taken her to this, for lack of a better word, it's like a kind of like an orphanage, but it's like a home. It's like a home for people that have magic, for teenagers that have magic. And this man adopts them and kind of takes care of them and shows them how to use their powers and how to strengthen their powers. Now, in this day and age, like it's read as though it's like nowadays, but apparently everyone around them, like being a witch is not okay, and they will be killed if they are found out that they have powers. So these girls are kind of confined to this home. It's like this home on a hill with like a forest around it, and the man that has adopted them has told them never to go into the forest, and that they're not safe if they venture away. So they just kind of stay at this homestead and are just like taught by this man that's adopted them, and they learn from each other. There's lots of really great representation in this story. There's a trans character, I think there's a bisexual character, and different ethnicities, different body types. Like there's a lot of really good representation in this book. And one day, one of the kids in this school, I guess for lack of a better word, ends up going missing. And they start to not trust the man that has adopted them. He says that he's going to go and find her, and he comes back empty-handed, and they just, especially our main character, Derry, is starting to really realize like something's wrong. Something's weird about him, and I don't trust him anymore. And so she kind of starts to try to find her sister on her own, and yeah, there's magic involved, witchcraft involved, all kinds of fun elements in this one. Okay, so my number 2 book and my number 1 book really fought to be number 1, but I put this one in number 2, and that is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. So this is the second book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, which is the follow-up series to Caraval. So if you ever want to read this, you should start with the Caraval, then Legendary, then Finale, and then Once Upon a Broken Heart, and then Never After. Okay, so I enjoyed this one so much. We are continuing to follow Evangeline Fox and the character Jax from Caraval. I can't give too much information on this one because it is like, it's in the middle of a series, right? So I don't want to talk too much about it, because I will spoil the first book for you if you haven't read the first one. But just know that it's full of magic. It's full of mystery. It's full of character development from some of these characters that we wouldn't expect. There's a really intriguing love story in this, and it was just so good. I definitely highly recommend Stephanie Garber's books. Like, she is one of my favorite YA authors, and I've loved this series, and this one was easily a 5 out of 5, like a 6 out of 5. Of course, you guys know what the last book is. My favorite book of the year, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. And in this one, we follow Addie, who basically makes a deal with the devil that she can live as long as she wants. So she can live forever if she wants to, but whenever she's ready to be done, the devil will come for her soul. Of course, making a deal with the devil is never really as it seems, and he makes this deal with her, but there's kind of a hidden caveat in there, and that is that everyone that she meets will not remember her the second she's out of their sight. So she can like meet somebody and have an amazing connection with them and having the best conversation of their life, and they get up to go to the bathroom, they come back, they have no idea who she is, they can't remember her at all. And so she goes on, and she's living this way. She's 300 years old at this time that we're meeting her, and she ends up meeting somebody who does remember her. So of course that's a weird situation. She hasn't had that in 300 years. And we kind of like follow them as they develop a really good friendship, a really good connection, and we are finding out why he can see her and why he remembers her and when nobody else does. So this book really makes you think about like live every day to its fullest, cherish every moment, because you don't know what lies ahead. And so it has a lot of good lessons in this, but it's also just beautifully written, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, you guys, those were the top fantasy reads that I read last year. Make sure you leave me recommendations in the comments down below because I am looking for more books to do another reading my subscribers recommendations video because you guys seem to really like that one and I had a lot of fun doing it. So leave me your fantasy recommendations in the comments down below and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!